had to move this month's webinar from the regular time around 10 o'clock to right now. And for this, we really appreciate you for taking the time to still be here with us. My name is Jared Lawal, and I'm the content curator with NetPlus. I'm so excited to be your guide for today's webinar, which happens to be the 11th edition of our monthly SME digital transformation series. I honestly can't believe that we've been doing this for 11 straight months. I'm personally so proud to have stayed this consistent. Anyhow, this digital transformation series was created with the aim of helping as many SMEs as we could to scale past the pandemic, past the COVID-19 pandemic, and all its downturns on the global economy. We have covered a variety of topics over these last few months as it relates to the adoption of digital transformation in businesses. You can refer to some old clips on YouTube. I think we have some on there. But for this series, we at NetPlus, we saw the opportunity, or we were fortunate enough to partner with Business Day Media, which is one of Africa's leading media platforms. And guys, honestly, we're so grateful that you are consistently supportive of this project. It's always a pleasure working with you to make this happen every month. Onto the business of today, though. Many of us started the year being very hopeful that 2021 was going to be, it's obviously the post-pandemic year, and it was going to be the recovery and second chances. And I would like to think that it was for a lot of us, including businesses everywhere. However, the year is almost over, and as we begin to wrap up business activities and gear up for the holidays and then 2022, we chose to make this the focus of this month's webinar around the key digital tools that can help businesses finish strong, if you know what that means. We aimed to close out the year strong using the right digital tool. And our list of the delectable speakers will be educating you all on different tech tools that you can leverage to optimize your business processes when 2021 comes to an end. I hope that you learned a thing or two from this conversation, and that with this, you have the confidence to make the decisions that can get your business from where it currently is to where you want it to be. Without further ado, I'll introduce our panelists. First, we have Akintomiwa Akintunde, who is an agile product owner and manager with over 5 years of experience in digital designing innovative soft solutions and enhancing existing systems with new features. He was a product manager at one of the biggest e-commerce companies in Africa and is currently the lead product manager in OmniBeat Africa. Hi, Tomiwa. I can call you Tomiwa, right?
Yes, please. Hi, Jamadi.
Hi. And do you want to say something to everyone that's listening right now?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for joining us. Second, we have, is Ifunaya around? We have Ifunaya Anguna. I'm so sorry if I just murdered your name. Please correct me. She's the Associate Director of Strategy and Planning at Wild Fusion. Her expertise in communication strategy, brand management, and digital strategy. She's a certified digital marketing professional from the Digital Marketing Institute of Ireland, a member of Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. Hi, Ifunaya. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry for murdering your name.
No, it's fine. Okay. You pronounce it well. I mean, Ifunaya, I don't know about the surname though. But it's fine. Thank you for having me, and I hope this is going to be an amazing session.
Yeah, I hope it will too. Please put on your camera, can you? Do you mind?
I think there's a challenge here, so I might have to log out and log in again because I can't start the camera.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Thank you. Finally, we have Emmanuel Emordi, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at i5.ng. He started as a freelancer, making ad soundtracks for brands like Virgin Atlantic, British Airways, and sending them out to ad agencies at the age of 16. Now that's impressive. Then he delved into digital marketing in 2010.
Hello? Hello? Hey. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Emmanuel.
Oh, right. I don't know if the whole thing goes over a bit. I don't know. Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, hi,
Good to
Emmanuel.
be here.
I'm so sorry about that, guys. I think I lost connection for a second there.
Oh, I thought that was from me.
Okay. So I was introducing Emmanuel and talking about all his accomplishments and the kind of brands that he's worked with. It's very impressive what you've done over time in your career, Emmanuel. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone.
Lost. Can everyone hear me, please?
I can hear you good.
Okay, good. Anyway, so without much ado, we'll be diving into the conversation now. But before we do, I just wanted to lay down some house rules. If you have any question you'd like to ask the speakers, please write them down in the chat room below and we'll answer them during the Q&A session. You can put your questions down in this format, your name, your location, the name of your business, that's optional, and then the question that you have. So I'm just going to go right into the questions that we've set up for the speakers. The first one I have here is, and I'm going to be directing that to Akintomi, if you can help. The first question here is, what is information management and why should businesses have a working system?
Thank you very much, Kenradi. Information management is basically how a business manages their operational cycle end to end. It has to do with how they collect data, how they collect the information, how they manage those informations that they have, how they store the information or preserve the information, how they dispose the information, and also how they deliver the information, how they deliver the right information at the right time to the right set of people. It is very important for a business to have a working system, especially for a business that wants to scale up, right? You want to, when you have a working system as a business, it gives you a full visibility on what is happening in your business. You know what is happening at every point in time, if you're making profit, if you're making losses, right? It also positions you to the eyes of investors in case you want to scale up big and you're looking for investments and all that, right? So you have to show an investor that you have a working system. You have to show them what is going on in every part of your operational process. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I mean, do you guys agree with exactly what he said, or is there something more you'd like to add, Manuel, Tunaya?
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. So it was a very clear summary.
Okay, but if I would like to come to you. I mean, he's broken down what information management means and how it's important for businesses to have a system that actually works, how it's beneficial for them and all of that. Well, what are the criteria to consider before selecting the selection of an information management system?
All right, so just piggybacking on what Akintomi had said, investing in the right tools, can just make a whole lot of difference in your business. And to kind of the criteria you have to consider again as a small business is to, number one, understand the people that you're working with and ask yourself, if your firm is ready for, taking up certain information management tools, because you also need to look at, your processes and the things that you've always been doing and how, certain departments can benefit from that. So you need to understand your people and also understand your processes, and see where the lapses are, and then decide, okay, based on your review of the processes, this is what we need to do. Another criteria you also need to look at is like your budget. So as a small business, it's very important that you also understand your budget and understand that some of these tools require investment. And so you need to look at how best to use your finance to improve on the tools that you intend to use. And you also need to look at the support and training that you might be getting from getting some of these tools as well. Because as a small business, you're still growing, and it's very important that when you're getting some information management tools, you need to consider the kind of support that you're going to be getting from the service providers. And you also need to look at the technology itself and how easy it is to implement the technology that you want to use. Remember, you're working with people, and you need to ensure that the technology you're going to be implementing into your business is as easy to use for every member of your organization. So I think those are like the 4 things you should consider: your budget, your people, the technology, and also support that you'll be getting.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Naya. But speaking of technology, and let's be honest, as a small business, or many small businesses have an issue with financing and having access to funds and all of that. What IM tools do you think are readily available to these small businesses who are looking to amp up their information management systems, and then how can they get access to these tools without necessarily breaking the bank?
Yeah, so the most basic one, when it comes to information management, you have like different processes. You have like your communications, marketing and stuff. And so just for the basic communication as well, you have your Gmail, which everybody uses. But at the same time, you have Google Meet. And Google Meet is like a very easy communication tool that small businesses can use. You don't need to break the bank. You already have like a Google account, and so it's easier for you to communicate with your team members or even with external parties with just the Google Meet. And we're on Zoom, so Zoom is another communication tool as well, which has I think a free version. Then when it comes to collaboration, because collaboration is also very important when it comes to ensuring that you have an efficient, smooth business running. A free tool again, because I'm very particular about the free tools and simple tools that the small businesses can use. You have Google Drive. They have Google Drive for business and Google Drive for personal use. But even Google, you could use Google Drive for collaboration with your team members, and it's easier, and it's easy to use and also easy to access. Another collaboration tool, small businesses can also consider should be Dropbox, where each member of the team can drop files and it's easily accessible. That is for collaboration. And then in terms of marketing as well, we have MailChimp for email marketing, and they have the free versions that small businesses can use. And also for design, you have Canva. For accounting, you have things like Xero. So I think though it's more of looking at the particular business process that the small business wants to improve on, and look at the tools that would help them without even breaking the bank. And some of these tools I've mentioned are really, really accessible.
All right, thank you so much for that. Emmanuel, do you have anything to add to what she said? Any other tools or anything at all?
I think between the two of them, they've kind of covered a good overview on the subject, on the topic, on the question, sorry. So I just want to throw in CRM. CRMs are a very undervalued business management tool. Many of them are free. There are many free CRMs out there. And CRMs help with both inbound as well as outbound communication management. I don't know, I think if you could run a poll here to ask participants how many businesses use CRM, you'll be shocked what positive jump in sales you would get from, using CRM. Very simple, affordable CRM out there. So I thought that was something to chip in. If I actually put quite a number of collaboration as well as process management, communication management tools. So I think that was something to chip in. A little change, but with massive possibilities, right? So you mentioned Google Drive. That Google Drive is just a cheat code. So many resources in one place. Free. Once you have a Gmail account, that's for just the Gmail account, except if you're using the business version, then you begin to pay monthly. But otherwise, it's free, and the resources there are unimaginable. So there are many free tools, like if I point that out, that are going to be highly helpful for whatever phase or whatever process it is that your business is. We can talk more about that eventually, just not to take too much time on this question. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mano. But still on you actually, because I know you have some experience as a freelancer. You still do some of that, right? So physically, you run your own business. Is that correct? So yeah. I think you are more the experts and you have more knowledge on talking about some of the financial challenges that businesses face and how maybe you manage it or how you advise that they manage their financial challenges.
Oh, okay. So about financial challenges that businesses face and how they can overcome them. I think the first financial challenge is not enough money. That's the first thing I like to talk about. Talk about two other financial, there's many, believe me. Financial challenges are why businesses exist or die. That's just like the backbone problem. But let me just mention like three. Just try to see how I can walk around them. The first financial challenge is not enough money coming in. The second financial challenge I'd like to talk about is mismanagement of money coming in, right? And the third I'd like to talk about is just the lack of a plan. Those are the three things I'd just like to touch on. I feel like they also impact other aspects of businesses and how technology solves this. I think that's how I'll answer your question. The first financial challenge is not enough money coming in. Usually is a marketing and sales problem. Sometimes the product problem. If you have the right product and you're not selling it, money will definitely won't come in. If you have a mediocre product that can't compete in the market, no matter how much you try to sell it, you might get trials, but you might not get consistent petrol, like repeat sales and all of that. So the first problem of financial, not enough money coming in is usually a sales or marketing problem. If you're not doing the right thing in terms of marketing, you won't get as much sales as you need to. If you're not lining up for the next set of opportunities or making the necessary moves, basically, to attract the sales that your business requires to generate income, you really wouldn't have money coming in. And another thing is also positioning, because it's not only sales that gives businesses money. I mean, you should kind of be aware of that right now. It's not only sales. So sales is not the only, it's the main pipeline, right? The main source of revenue, but that's not the only source of revenue. So for businesses that have existed for a while, investment is also something that brings businesses inflow. But not to go too far into that, long and short is that for the average business, sales is what gives you your money. And you want to ensure you're doing the right kind of marketing to ensure that you mean that you have inflow coming in even before you need them. Second problem is the misuse of funds coming into your business. Even as a freelancer, like you mentioned, while working as a freelancer, for example, there's the issue of, oh, I just did this very good deal, it brought me good money, and then you just want to stop, do the rest you did. You end up misusing that for freelancers. For businesses, on the other hand, you make similar mistakes. If you don't have, and that connects to the third problem, which is the lack of a plan. If you don't have a growth plan, you will misappropriate resources. If you don't have a proper growth plan, even as a freelancer, if you don't want to improve your process or expand your capability to handle more clients, for example, you wouldn't know how best to use the resources that come in, either to improve your process, right, or to improve the quality of what you're bringing out. That's for freelancers and businesses, right? If you don't have a proper plan, you will misuse resources. So these are the key things I'd like to focus. First, like I said, not enough money coming in, which is usually a sales or marketing problem. The second financial problem I'd like to talk about, I mentioned, is the misuse of money coming in misappropriation, and that has a lot to do with financial education as well as the lack of a plan. And then the third is the actual lack of a plan. So if you don't have a good enough growth plan, you wouldn't find the need to use resources meaningfully. I don't know if this meets your or answers the question.
Yeah, it did. And mostly what I got is always have a good plan. Don't rely just on sales for your finances. Those two are actually very, very important, more important than a lot of people might realize. But I mean, tell me what I want to move on to. We're here because technology is solving problems in a lot of aspects of our lives, including how people run their business. So, in what way or in what ways would you say that technology is changing how businesses deal with their finances?
Well, I think it's really obvious that tech is really helping and has helped so far. Like we're currently on a call right now, able to see each other, and then going about our businesses, also impacting lives, right? So part of that I would say is the ease of payment and collection, like cash flow improvement, right? So right now, you know that an SME can easily just have like an online store, receive money online, right, into his account, have a delivery contacted online as well, have the product delivered to the customer online as well, and then get the feedback from the customer online, right? It's gone are those days where you need to go to a store to get stuff, right? Right now, you don't really need to have like a physical store or a physical business, office to really make money or to really push your business, right? Even at the SME level, to whichever place you want to go to, right? So basically, like Emmanuel said the other time, right? It is also important that you have a plan. I mean, when you incorporate tech with your plan, you're just basically limitless, right? Amongst that is also marketing, right? And advertisement, right? We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that right now. Before now, we didn't have those. Right now, you can pretty much just take pictures of your products and just put them on Instagram and then advertise, right? That is tech working for you right there. Also, for some SMEs, because I mean, recently I've had to do like a few research with some retailers on ground, and then to see how they actually run their day-to-day activities, right? And I realized that some of them actually do not have an information management system. Okay, no matter how little, some of them do not even have a way to keep records, which is really very vital. But when you have a very good information management tool, you are able to have like a full knowledge of what is happening in your business, your finances. You're able to track everything that happens, your expenses, your profits, your losses, your sales. You know how a product is doing, you know how you did in the previous month. So tech has actually made it easier for you to be able to account for your sales, your profits, and your business in general. All right. And then lastly, to solve the problem of the challenges that SMEs face, tech has actually also made that easy. We all know that we have some apps currently that give loan to SMEs, and they don't even need to see you. You don't even have to have a physical presence, all right? You just need to probably be on the platform for a while, and then have like traction and be making sales. You're a lawyer and all that, and then you are able to access some loan, right, where you can use to scale up your business. Yes, so I think it is still it keeps on going, all right. Also talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and all that. So it has not only improved businesses, and it's still improving businesses, but it also positions the business to be able to invest as well in some other areas that is basically like liquid, like, yeah. So I think
Thank you so
tech
much.
is really changing the way businesses are run these days. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. Thank you so much for that. And if not, I would have a question for you too. But I just want to go back to Emmanuel very quickly because he's the one person who has the most experience running some type of business. It's not always easy to organize your books. Again, tell me what I talked about, putting down your profits and your losses and managing all of that stuff. It's not always easy to keep your books in check, and it's not for a small business owner. It's not always feasible to be able to afford to hire the best finance guys or an accounting team to like take care of all that for you. So, what tech tools would you say can help financial management? Finance management in a small business?
Okay, so
and that's Emmanuel.
Yeah, got it. So I think it's very easy to expect people to keep records. It's because it sounds simple, right? So like I think
We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me better now though?
Yes.
All right, thanks. So like I think Cindy said, he's done a bit of a survey amongst like SMEs trying to find out if they use any information management tool or any form of record keeping for their finances, and he found out that a majority of them did. And I have a similar experience to asking small businesses if they keep records, and it's almost inexistent. In most cases, it's tough. The reason is because that small act of recording and tracking expenses it requires a ton of discipline, a lot of discipline. That's manually speaking now. But tech tools have come in to help businesses do that without even thinking or without even trying. Right? So for example, as simple as your bank app, it gives you data or even a visual representation of how much has come in and how much has gone out. At times, you can actually, you don't even need to use any core analytics tool to see how much has gone in total month versus how much has gone out in total using the bank app. Like if you open your app right now, you see that display there. I think that simple report, that very short report can help a business know how much how they treated inflows and outflows. And that's one. That's a tech tool, for example, that has helped. There's also payroll management tool that has helped automate how you handle salaries. It also helps you track patterns. I think that's the real thing here, besides just giving the collection of data for small businesses, especially when it comes to finance, tracking, reporting, analyzing, right, and taking learnings and making decisions from those learnings, even for small businesses. I think the focus here is small businesses. Is that most businesses don't even see the need for this. They don't really understand why they should analyze this information or use these tools. But what I look to do here is to just let them see existing tools that they already use and how those tools can help them how those tools can help them without them feeling that they need to learn anything new, right? So your bank app, for example, your payroll app, your savings app, your investment app, you can just go to the analytics section of those things. It's a very short report, and you can either screenshot or print those things and just sit down as a business owner and just look at those things. So tech tools ranging from the tools you already use, which I like to begin from, your bank app, your savings app, your investment app, your loan app, those things help businesses track their expenses. If as a small business, like now we see that a lot of loan apps are booming in the or they have a lot of patronage and users and adoption, right? If a business is using a loan app at point where they are cash strapped, right? If you go to your app report section, you'll be able to see, okay, so you didn't borrow every month, right? Which month did you borrow? Understanding that data will help them understand how best to not only maybe service existing loans, but also mitigate or check what possibly caused the need for them to borrow, right? That's like a learning and reporting, learning a use of those existing tools to learn and to work with the report. So I feel like the tools that businesses can use, in most cases, you're already using them in your personal financial life, right? But then again, to take it a step further, you can use more advanced.
If you can hear us, we've lost you.
Oh, wow.
Is it for me?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can anyone else hear me? I think she just said she couldn't hear me for a bit.
I can hear you. I can hear
I
you
can
now.
hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was saying that most of the tools that I would say that small businesses should use or employ, I'd like to say are tools that they already use, right? So that they don't feel like it's too much change for them. The tools you already use, look at the reporting section of those tools. It begins to help you track the numbers. And the reason you track those numbers is because it's the only way to improve when you take a look at how you work. But if you want to take it a step further, you can then take your financial tracking app. There's quite a number of financial tracking apps. Just go to your Play Store or your.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me good?
Okay, you know, until he is able to reconnect.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Emmanuel, I can hear you clearly.
She's kind of saying.
I think she has issues with her network standard.
Okay, probably network issues from the side. Okay. Even can you hear me though?
Yes, I can hear you, Emmanuel. I just think it's her
So I
network.
guess it's
Yeah, I think so as well.
yeah.
Let's just give her a minute, because
Yeah, hello, everyone, can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, Emma.
Hello.
We can hear you. I just think we need to wait for her.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right, I just saw this. I just saw this.
Apologies, everyone. Blame it on Nigeria, not me. Look. I'm so sorry. Oh God. I hope everyone got what you were saying though, because this is, yeah. Okay, so I'll just move on to the next question. Is that okay?
Hello?
So if, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what I got from Emmanuel, however, is talking about being businesses taking or prioritizing how they analyze a lot of their processes, financial reporting and all that stuff. And I want to feed off of that to move on to performance review, right? How would you suggest that small businesses can review their performance over the last year? Because a lot of people try to make changes, a lot of people try to adopt technology processes over the last 10 months. I mean, the year is coming to an end. It's time to look back what worked, what didn't work. So how would you suggest that these businesses go about that? And how do you also encourage them to use this in making the best decisions moving forward as they enter 2022 business year?
Okay, so I mean, from where they can start from is just to look at the whole business objective. What exactly was the business objective for the year, and looking at the different departments, depending on the number of departments that they have, take inventory of the way things went in terms of efficiency. So, for example, let's use lack of collaboration, having a lack of collaborative tools, for example, and how that influenced or impacted the time management. Because sometimes, not having a central database where you can collect information can make work, 3-4 times harder and just take up time that you're not even supposed to take up. So it's just more of like looking at the whole business and then looking at where performance needs to be improved in terms of time and in terms of resources. So for time management, you then begin to look at how you can maybe improve on your collaboration tools, and also maybe get 1 or 2 paid tools for other things like maybe accounting or payroll. So I mean, and even just repeating back on what Emmanuel had talked about in terms of accounting can take up a lot of time. So sometimes you have like small businesses, like they're going to the bank, they're just doing a lot of things that they're not even supposed to be doing. I mean, it's not like they're not supposed to be doing, but that time that they would have used to go to the bank and all of that, they would have just sat down at the office and finished, what they were supposed to do in like 10 or 5 minutes. But they had to do that. So it's just looking at the whole business objective and looking at where exactly you need to focus on. It's not everything that you need to do. It's not in all the business area that you need to improve or get, digital tools. It's more of like the most important area that you think that, investing in a management information tool can, help have like a ripple effect on the overall business, just to manage resources. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I'll move on to Tomura very quickly. I mean, she already kind of, explained this, but I mean, how can these businesses improve their efficiency using technology tools? Like, are there specific ones that are available that people can, take advantage of while you're trying to, make sure that at the next business year is more efficient or more productive among their employees, among their staff, all of that?
Yeah, of course. I think that as a business, it is very important for you to know where you're at. It is very important for you to know the kind of business you're into, right? Especially as at this small scale, right? What kind of business do you do? Do you offer services? Do you sell products? Okay, so you need to answer that question at first, right? What are your business goals? Basically, these questions would lead you to getting the right tools. Okay, if you are just starting out, maybe with just one staff or 1 to 10 staff, you want to be cost effective. You want to manage costs at all, but in every way you can, basically. So you want to get tools that can consolidate your operations, right? So you don't want to say, okay, I want to use Salesforce. I have just one worker. I want to go and use Salesforce for customer relationship management, or I want to use people HR. I want to use all these tools, right? You might not, they might be too big for you to use at that time. So you have to understand the level with which you are right now and try to get a tool that consolidates everything, all your operation right at once, all at one year. So a tool that can allow you to scale. So in terms of, okay, I'm growing, from 1 to 10, that's the aim. You want to really grow big, right? Basically. So you need to get a tool that that gives room for growth. Some of the tools that I know that can help you manage your day-to-day activities, right, is QuickBooks. QuickBooks, it's pretty, I think you have a free version as well that you can use to track your expenses, day-to-day activities, right? You can use it to manage your customers, all in one. So you just have one app that monitors everything for you at that point in time, and then it is also scalable as well. In Nigeria, we also have some apps that are actually, and tools that are coming up right now. Again, basically it depends on where you are, right? So I'm just going to be treating this from the angle of, okay, I'm just starting out, or I just want to scale to another level, right? Maybe I have like just 1 employee, I'm going to 2 employees or 10 employees, right? Before I now say, okay, I'm going to the medium scale where you are able to get a people management software, right? So there are some organizations also that are creating great apps right now. You have My Store by OmniBiz for retailers, it also has, some other things like loans, so as a retailer, if you sell FMCG products, you're able to consolidate everything. You are able to upload your product, track your customers, apply for loans, based on your usage of the app. You are able to get loans from the company. You have Keeper. Keeper is also doing good right now. You're able to, especially for people that are into, maybe you have a salon, you offer services, you're a mechanic or whatnot, right? You're able to also use Keeper to track your expenses, your transactions. Every way, at every point in time. You have Sage Accounting. So as you scale up, right, you are able to afford some of the softwares at the premium level. For those of them that offer premium, subscriptions, some of them are actually free totally, right? They probably just collect money for maybe cashless transactions and all that. Yeah. So you have Oded, you have Sage Accounting. So I think these are a few tools that I feel could help. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Tomiwa. Everyone, remember that you can drop your comments in the chat box, and I'll be able to pass it on to the speaker, who you're directing the question to. You guys have based a lot of the tips that you've given on the goal of the company, where they are currently, what they've done, and all that. But I think I want to ask this, and I'm saying this because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business owners and small business owners tend to put a lot of pressure on themselves. They tend to compare themselves to the competition. Oh, this person is doing something, or this company is doing something. And everybody has different journeys, right? So what should SMEs consider as wins or accomplishments, big and small, as the year is coming to an end? Even if they had set goals, some of them might have been crossed off the list, some of them not so much. But what would you have them consider to be wins and accomplishments for this year, considering the economy that we're in and everything that's happening? Okay. And I think I'll direct that question to Emmanuel, and then maybe everyone can just chip in something.
That's a very practical question.
Emmanuel, I'm so sorry to cut you. Can you check your audio first? Can you connect it to a mic or something?
Yeah, I'm able.
Can you
hear me
unplug it? It's not.
Sure.
It's kind of muffled.
All right. Let me speak up in my case. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's better.
All right, so let me jump straight into the question. Your question was, what would small businesses consider wins as we round off the year? All right. Again, it depends on the kind of business you're in, that's one, product services. And the next thing I think to consider is the industry you're in. Did your industry do well this year? Because many times it's easy to consider your business in a silo, and that's a problem. If you don't measure properly, you could really end up frustrating yourself, and that's not good. As a business owner, you want to look also at the industry. If your industry didn't do well this year, for example, last year, and even this year we've had more events, but last year, if you if you had like an event hall, right, and business didn't go well last year, would you blame it on what now? Your business not performing well? It was an industry-wide problem. There weren't offline events last year. That's an example. So one thing to look at is also besides looking at your own self as a business, look at your industry. If your industry didn't do well, then the next thing I think to do is to latch on to businesses industries that are doing really well. So basically, what would they call quick wins? I think the first metric I'd say is financial. Of course, the financial health is everything. The financial health is everything. The financial health of your business. That's let's say the finance basically money. If you guys are making money, that's a good indicator towards the end of the year. If you're not making money throughout the year, towards the end of the year, it's a good time to check or to look into ways that you can make some money. Like I was saying, if your industry wasn't doing well, if that was responsible for you not doing very well, then it's good to latch on to existing businesses that are doing, industries that are doing really well. For example, if you do photocopy and you've not been making money all year, towards the end of the year, latch on to an industry that is doing really well. Like an event organizer, for example, latch on to them, probably come up with creative ways to help them, and then probably you'll be able to make that's a way to grab it quickly, and that is financial quick win. Another quick win you can look into is the industry. Another quick win before the end of the year for small businesses besides finance is new opportunities. If throughout the year you've been doing the same thing and you've not really seen a lot of growth, at the end of the year, you want to ask yourself how many new opportunities you've lined up for. A quick win would be to position yourself reasonably and try to attract partnerships as well as sales and line up sales opportunities before the year comes to an end. You don't start this in January. So a quick win would be to begin to do that just very much. I don't know if you can hear me good. Yeah, okay, yeah. So a quick win.
Hear you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much. So a quick win is to line up for opportunities. If the year hasn't been very well or has been good and you want to grab a quick win, one of them is new opportunities, partnership opportunities, sales opportunities, expansion of opportunities. So that's another quick win. A third one would be capacity building. So for example, your team. If whether you're a product or a service business, you don't exist as a business. I mean, even if you're a one-man business, you still work with people, even if it's like a project based, right? Especially if you now have like a full staff, like a full-time team, right? If you have a full-time team, no matter how small, a very important thing is to ensure the employees or your team members are very engaged. They are more engaged with your business. If you can strengthen their commitment and their participation in the business, engagement basically, that's a quick win too. If your sales team, for example, your sales team isn't very motivated or they've not been very motivated all year, towards the end of the year, what can you do to ensure that they are more engaged? They want to drive more sales. If you come up with a system to engage your team members in your business to help them be more genuinely yearning for the growth and progress of the business, probably because of like maybe commissions or actual a design that helps them commit more to the business. That's a quick win. It means you're going to have rock stars into the new year, and you want that. You really want that because you're going to tie their personal goals to the success of the business. And if that happens, things will definitely see an improvement, as against if that wasn't the case during the course of the year. So these are like two quick examples of what businesses can consider quickly. Another, not very fun, but highly important, is compliance. If businesses have not been compliant all year, you are actually accruing liability. At the end of the year, you want to somehow see how much you can salvage, if maybe taxes, returns. Like I said, it's not fun, but very important. You want to see how much you can, make up for your compliance needs, because in the end, that lines you up for subsequent opportunities or bigger opportunities. So there's so many things businesses, depending on the stage they're at, can consider a quick win. And in many ways, you can also line up to attract those quick wins before the year comes to an end. I hope that made your question answer.
Yeah, it does help. It does help. And somebody, Tochi, says, I really like that perspective, Emmanuel. Asking yourself if your industry did well as you analyze your business success. So I think you are passing your point across. So I want to also ask Ifnaya the same question. What should SMEs, or what can SMEs consider as wins and accomplishments as they close out this year?
Okay, I think Emmanuel has covered a little bit of what they should consider. But however, it's also, they need to also not just look at the industry per se, but also look at the milestones that they've set for themselves. Sometimes people can be very overambitious. And so, not hitting that particular goal might look like, they haven't, really won something. But when you look at it at a micro level, you might see that you've actually done one or two things that moved you forward. So again, it's more of looking at your business, and then looking at the steps that you've taken all throughout the year to understand, okay, what worked and what didn't work, and then kind of positioning yourself. And, we still have like 1 more month left, and you could also leverage on the trend around Christmas to, just really, to really close out, let's put it that way. And it's just more of like the kind of story that you tell around your business and the way you then anchor it on the season. And that is how you can also try and win, for the year. But at the end of the day, it's just more of like looking at
Did we lose her?
There must have been network.
Okay. Maybe Tamara can just, feel that stuff before she comes back.
Okay. So for me, I think that it is very important. I don't know, it depends on, I think firstly, as a small business, it is very important for you to have a very positive attitude, right? There's this saying that goes like, I have not failed, I have only learned a way of, not doing it. I mean, I have only learned, so I haven't failed, I have only learned a way that would not work. That means I have learned something, basically. So I've grown, basically. So when you try something and it doesn't work, or you make a decision and then it doesn't go the way you want or the way you expect, you would have learned something. That's one. So it's a win. It might not be monetary, it might not be cash, right? But you have learned how to do something, right? That is why usually experience is preferred to just reading books, because the process itself, it's like a teacher, right? And then ROI, basically return on investment. It is very important for you to be very conscious of what you're doing. You need to be focused, right? You need to understand that, okay, how much did I get this particular thing that I'm selling? If you're a trader, how much have I put into a generator? How much have I put into internet? How much have I put into, your expenses, right? How much am I selling? What is the profit? Have I made profits as to what I made last month? If you have made profits, no matter how little, it's a win. Celebrate yourself, right? Adjust. learn from your mistakes, right? And ensure and make it, mandatory for you to yourself to improve. Customer acquisition, you might not have made anything, right? You might have made new customers. Last month, how many customers did you have, right? Was it 10? Was it 20? Right now, how many customers do you have? People drive everything. There's practically nothing that will thrive without people. Okay, so if you're offering services, if you're selling products, you need people. If you have a lot of people, right, it means you have achieved something. So that is another win, right? Your profit and your losses, right, in comparison to previous years. Okay, where are you now, basically? And then customer retention. Can your customers say that, oh, I am going to this guy's store today to buy? Right? He does not have this particular product. Okay, I'm going to wait for you till next year because I am so sure that you're going to give me the original high quality, right? So, in fact, take this money. When you have it, just send it to me. Okay, very, very key for you to have customer retention, right? If you've noticed over time, all right, in the last quarter or in the last 6 months that you have had consistent customers, right, in your business, it speaks a lot. It means that people like your service. It means that you're not doing so bad after all, right? It means that you need to keep doing what you're doing. You need to improve, to get more customers and retain them. Retention is also very important. So these are little wins, right, that you should celebrate. What are the goals that you had set for yourself? Right? You don't have to have achieved all the goals that you've set, but have you moved from A to B? Okay, it is better for me to move than to be stagnant, right? If you have been able to move in any area of your business in terms of your profits, in terms of customer, in terms of innovation, have you improved on your system? Were you using the traditional way before? Have you moved to the digital aspect right now? Are you doing things in a better way? Do you have full visibility on your finances? Do you have full visibility on your product? Are you able to open like your phone or your dashboard to see that, okay, this is where we are right now? Yeah, so if you have been able to achieve that, right, and you were not able to achieve that last year or in a few months, it's a win for you and you should celebrate yourself. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much for that. If I back.
Hello?
Okay, okay, yeah, sorry, we lost you for a second there.
Oh, okay. So, King Tomiwa and Emmanuel, they've said it more, they've said it all. But what I was saying was just to look at it in the micro level, because most times, we have like very ambitious goals and we lose track of the micro small things that we've done so far. So it's just more of like looking at the small things that we've done and then asking ourselves, okay, did this move me forward? Because sometimes not even, growth is not even about like the big things, it's about those small things that you do every single day. And so it's just more of like looking at those small things that you've done throughout the year and how those small things, actually compile. And then there was something Tomiwa said, which was more of like, you've learned something. I think the biggest win for me and for if a small business owner is your experience. You've done a lot of things this year, and even if you didn't get to where you wanted to by the end of the year, the most important thing is that you've learned something, and that something can take you forward into the next year. And so you start from now to then do more of like an assessment of all the things you've learned for the year, and use that as a projection for how you're going to be better in the next year. So I think the biggest win, I would say, is the things that you've learned. And it's not, sometimes we take learnings as something, because it's not really monetary, we think it's small, but learnings are very, very important and very, very huge, because it's that one single thing that you learn that can catapult you into something massive. And so learnings and the experiences that you've gathered for the whole year is very important, and it's an actual win. The question is what you're going to do with that going forward.
Thank you so much for that, Naya. Thank you to all of you. I just want to do a quick recap for everyone who listened. So our speakers talked about it's okay to be ambitious, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. There are different aspects that you can look out to measure your weight and your accomplishments, your financial health is important. Look at the new opportunities that you might be having. Engage with your employees. They're not just figureheads. Actually engage with them. Look back at how well you've complied to maybe industry roles and all of that. I particularly enjoy what was it Emmanuel that said this now? Tell me what I said this. It said, you haven't exactly failed, you've just learned what not to do. So even if in a situation where you feel like you haven't accomplished something, or you haven't done enough, or you haven't done whatever, you can look back at that with positivity and think to yourself, okay, this is what I shouldn't do in the next year. And I think that's just amazing. So, I mean, I just want every business here to just look at these points that they've made and just try to put all of that advice into the decisions that you make moving forward in your businesses. You talked about customer acquisition, customer retention, and all of that. And I feel like a huge part of that has to do with engaging your customers, communicating with them, interacting with them. And I think I'll direct this question to Tomiwa. What are some organic ways that SMEs can adopt to effectively communicate with their customers or potential customers?
Yeah, well, I think one of the tools that you can use, like a lot of people know, is Twitter, right? It is very important. Twitter, Instagram, social media platforms. It is also very important that you separate your personal account from your business account, right? And then the way your page is also structured is very important as well. Like I go through some Instagram pages and I see no refunds. I'm like, why would you put no refunds? What does that even mean? You understand? That is very inappropriate. If you really examine companies that have really thrived, you would see that return is part of basically the customer journey, right? So what it means is that if I buy something from you and it is not okay, it is my loss. No, you're already telling the customer that, hey, it's a no-go area, right? So if you buy something, it is my risk. It is. I don't think that is appropriate, right? You need to structure that well. You need to make the customer, like we're talking about customer retention, right? The customer has to feel at home, right? Patronizing you basically. So you need to be careful, and you need to know what you're doing, and then set yourself in the right position and the right way, right, with what you post. Then try to get feedbacks as well from your customers, right? What can you do better? What have you noticed and all that? And you'll be amazed with the responses that you would have, and then ensure that you use those feedbacks to restructure your business or make things better, right? Instagram adverts as well, as you're able to afford once in a while, you can also use that to reach out to people. You can also send messages, text messages to people, your customers, right? Which brings us back to information management, right? If you have a good information management system that handles the customer aspect, it means you are able to have their contacts, right? Phone numbers. You're able to send them messages, Salah messages, Christmas text messages, inform them of your new product, inform them of a price drop, check on them once in a while. You basically just stick it to their memory, right? It shows that you care beyond them patronizing you. We know that eventually it still comes back to you, but it's basically part of customer service, and it's very, very important. There was this brand, I think is it Zappos or so, right? They would go the extra mile they will go to an extent of buying pizza for their customers, right? When they have a bad experience. A lot of SMEs that I see in Nigeria today do not have that. They would even sometimes tell you, you have never met the company before, you've just seen them on Instagram. They will tell you, we cannot deliver, you have to prepay before we deliver. Yeah, we understand that there are some people that scam you and all that, but you need to manage that. Myself, I would never send you money, right? Before I see
my product.
Exactly.
I was going there.
Yeah, before I see my product. So it is very important, your integrity. It is very key in everything you do as an SME. If the greater goal is to grow, right? You need to have integrity. I was saying on the chat, somebody was saying, how do I get an angel investor? How is your business doing right now? How many customers do you have in the past, right? How many do you have now? Have you grown? You might not necessarily have made profit, right? That's not basically what you're looking for. They might be looking for that, but your customer base, has it grown? How do you actually manage customers? You know, don't scam people and then close an account and then decide to be serious in the next one and open another Instagram account, right? It makes no sense. If you really want to do this, you know, really go all out to do it and do it in the proper way, right? So you use all these channels, Instagram, you know, Twitter, like I said, social media, Facebook, send text messages, call them once in a while as well. You know, for your customers that have been constant and consistent and you have not seen for a while, you know, again, information management system will tell you that, okay, this customer had been a regular customer and then this month you've not seen him. You know, he might not be feeling fine, or he might have gone to somebody else to buy the products that you sell because of price. It would give you the feedback and then you can adjust yourself. Okay, oh yeah, Organovex, oh yeah, come back and I'll sell to you at this price, right? You would gain your customer back, all right? So I feel that these two, they might be really small, but they are really powerful in the way you communicate and interact with your customers, yeah, and your prospects, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, and I'm with you on a lot of points that you've made. However, I have to play devil's advocate just a little bit. These SMEs, the truth is that a lot of them are actually very legit and very they have their integrity intact, but they still don't like the idea of, you know, sending a product to a customer, well, good enough product, and then customer decides I'm not going to pay. How do they manage not having to deal with the whole no pay on delivery option, if you know what I mean? How do you suggest that they manage that? If you're telling them now that they shouldn't bother collecting money before they actually send out a sale, so how do they manage that kind of situation?
So I think that there has to be like a form of agreement. So I was talking to a vendor recently that wanted me to pay before delivery, and I was like, guy, we haven't met. I just literally just saw you online. Okay, how do I send you 43K? And you're sure that, how am I sure that you send me the item? Because I actually have the experience. A friend of mine sent 505,000 naira to somebody, you know, for an iPhone, and the guy never delivered, you know. And then we've been going about the EFCC and all that, trying to salvage your case and all that, but it will take time. We all know where we are, right? It will take time, and you would not eventually get the money. If it might get maybe like some part, yeah. So I feel that there has to be an agreement, right? You have logistics guys right now, Gokada, Quick, and the likes that will take your products to the customer, and then we demand that the customer pays before they deliver. Okay, and then you also have an agreement that, okay, Oga, if you know that you're not going to send the money before I send the item, you should be sure, because the only fear that you have here is that the delivery fee is on you, right? If a customer says that, okay, send the money, and then I'm not going to send the item, I'm going to pay, and it doesn't pay, right? You can have an agreement with the customer that, okay, if you're not going to pay, send the delivery fee, right? Delivery fee is usually 1,000 or 500 naira, that every customer will be reasonable enough to say, okay, I'm sending you 1K for me to bring the product. Okay, so at least you know that your product is going to come back to you, right? And then you're not incurring an extra charge, right? Except you're doing a promo that says, okay, free delivery, you know, by delivering the product to the customer. Yeah, so I think that's another way that can help as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Emmanuel, so how about you? What are some organic ways that, you know, businesses can communicate with their customers or prospective customers? Emmanuel?
Some organic ways. Hello, can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, I'm just swapping between sound. All right. Hello.
No, we can't hear you. If not, can you just comment for him while he sorts out his connection, please?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry for that. I had to keep swapping between devices to ensure everything's smooth. So organic ways that businesses, SMEs specifically, according to your question, can connect with or with their users.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, I think you're echoing.
I've muted him. You should just talk. You can talk.
What about now? Better?
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Great. So some organic ways that businesses can connect with their users. First off, email. Email is a very important organic way to reach out to your customers. SMSs, Telegram, you have them on, which is still social media anyways. If you have them on LinkedIn, which is still kind of connected, networking platforms help businesses with organic ways to reach out to existing customers. I'd like to even answer that question from two different ways. If you want to reach out to new customers, that's a different conversation. Because these channels I've mentioned are for customers who already are in your database, right? People who are in your email list or you have their contact via SMS. Another way to look at it is to reach out to new customers, right? To generate new leads organically. That's a different conversation from using email. Because if you don't have a person's email, you can't reach out to them. But if you want to speak to customers or users or people that are not in your, they're not existing customers, the ways you can do that, you can use events, just like this one, right? It's pretty easy. You organize an event and you share it among your existing people. They bring in more people. Those people experience you. And when they experience you, it's cost effective. You're not really doing a deal, except maybe for like, you're not actually paying per se, except maybe you're using the paid version of Zoom. Yeah, but it's pretty free. Organize an event that is well themed and well curated as relevant to your customers, right? When you're able to get them in, then you have an opportunity to speak to them that way. That's a way of bringing in new customers using organic means, right? Storytelling and publishing, blogging. Those are ways you communicate to and attract organically, because I know the emphasis here for you is organically, that's not paid, right? So I hope that actually does answer your question.
Yes, it does.
There are a lot of ways, and this actually is a big conversation. Organic marketing, massive conversation. But I just try to summarize it to the most practicable steps for different sections of users.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have touched on the most important parts of the question, so I think that works. We don't have much time. I just rushing through a lot of these questions, but I'm just going to move on to the final question because we want to round this up at 2:30 at the latest. And this question is for everyone. Just go around, looking at the coming year. What advice do you have for businesses as they plan their digital marketing strategies? Maybe start with Funaya.
Okay, so when it comes to like digital marketing and just general marketing strategy, the first thing again, small businesses need to do, the first thing is to take inventory of, what you've done in the past year and then come up with like a strategy. And by strategy, I mean like, when it comes to strategy, again, there are two aspects of strategy I need to talk about. So we have like your strategy as a plan, where you have like all the tactics and all of that. And then you have like your strategy as like an organizing idea that directs every other thing that you do. So just most times what I see is a lot of people just, have plans, but they don't have like something that is guiding the plans that they're doing. And so at the end of the year, they see that they are doing like, they've done a lot of things that are not coherent. So my advice again for, digital marketing or marketing strategy, after you've taken inventory of, what you've done this year and what you need to improve, you need to have like an overarching theme that would guide your yearly or your activity for the next year. And it needs to be focused. So focus and clarity of, that strategy is very important, because if you don't have focus, if you don't have clarity of, what you need to do, then you're going to be doing a lot of things that are not, going to help you achieve the end goal. So you need to have that strategy as an idea, which is, more of like the controlling idea, the thing that will guide everything you're doing. And it will enable you to say yes and no to so many things. Because, most times again, we have what they call shiny object syndrome. You want to do a lot of things, you want to have a lot of tools and all of that. But the idea of having, a singular strategy guiding you is that you can say yes to some things and then say no to a lot of other things. And saying no to a lot of other things will help you to double down on the things that will help you to grow. And so when you have that strategy as an idea that guides everything that you do, it will enable you to think in terms of the kind of channels that you would play in. It's not every channel that you should play in as a business. You need to decide on the channels that will help you. It's not, if Facebook is your most active channel and the channel that brings you the most conversions, then you can double down on that and even leave every other channel, or those will become supporting channels. Also think of like collaborations as well, and the kind of collaborations that would also help the strategy or your goal for the year. Most times we see a lot of small businesses working in silos, and for your digital strategy or for your marketing strategy going forward, it's also important to think of the partnerships that you can have that would also help you to drive that growth and scalability that you're looking for. So that's just what I have to say in summary.
Okay, thank you so much for that response. I think the question was directed to Tomiwa. Do you want to answer that now?
Sorry, General. Sorry, can you take the question again, please?
Someone asked about Zappos and having to payment on delivery and all that. Did you see that question?
Oh yeah. Okay. You mentioned Zappos, and I also love them, but these companies do not accept pay on delivery options. How do we manage this? I sell fitness products, and every client has paid before delivery. Okay, so now Zappos, right? It's a good. It is very sad that in Nigeria we do not have like a working system. Okay, you are not protected in any way. Where Zappos is, you have a lot of strict government rules, right? The integration, everything has been tested, right? There's integrity. So the payment platform has been vetted, they are properly registered. So people are comfortable buying things from them. So they are able to actually go with a full, prepaid mode. But if you come to Nigeria, if you go through, if you examine all the most e-commerce companies that you have in Nigeria, they will tell you that their volumes are largely dependent on cash on delivery. Okay, we have not gotten to that point where prepaid is, very, very seamless and people are very comfortable with it. Right now, you already sell to people, so how you get the customer also matters a lot. So if I have a friend and I tell my friend that this guy sells stuff, right, and I bought this stuff from the guy, you have to send him money. He would send you money because there's already that trust. There's a referral. Okay, but if the guy came across your store online and then it's the first time, he's a first time buyer, he would need to try you first, right? So that is why you need to weigh things properly and see how you are able to not manage the situation by saying, okay, you'll be responsible for the delivery, right? They'll bring this to your doorstep, right? So if you eventually do not want the item and it is not like the item is not as described, right, you would forfeit your delivery fee. Okay, every reasonable customer will understand you, right? And if the customer is serious about buying the product, it would not even think twice about it. It would just say, okay, go ahead and bring it, right? So you also do not want to lose a customer in that process of saying you must pay, right? Because you know that, see, people that have gone through various experiences online, loads of experiences where they've been scammed. If you check Instagram right now, you would see, especially if you see a store that does not have comments below their posts, most times they just block out comments because people that have had bad experiences have posted comments and they do not want people to see them. Okay, so there's no transparency basically. So I think this is the only way as at now that you can manage your business. Another way you can do that is when you list on all these e-commerce stores, like Jumia, you could say if you list there, Konga or the likes, if you sell on those platforms, they trust the platform already. You can get your prepaid, you can do prepaid, okay, where you get your money and people actually will trust that. But over time, once it's just about making just one successful delivery with a good review, that's all you need, right, to keep a customer. And it is very vital for your business. So it is what it is right now until we get to that point where there is seamless cashless payment between the seller and the customer. You just have to look for a way to manage it with these few points that I've listed. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. But before you go off, your advice for businesses that are planning towards their 2022 marketing strategy or digital strategies.
Okay, my advice would be that you should try to review your business. Okay, you need to try and structure out all the things that you did in the past that did not work. Okay, do not keep doing things. You cannot keep doing the same thing and expect to get a different output. Okay, if you did it 2 years ago, you still did not grow. If you did it last year, you still did not grow. And this year is coming to an end still, right? And you have not made much, guy. It is high time you sat down to think about what you want to do and what you want to achieve, right? And be open to changes. Bitcoin came, a lot of people did not plug into it. A lot of people were skeptical. I'm not saying you should take risk that would harm your business, right? I'm saying that when it comes to using technology to pilot your business to scale up, right, be open to it, all right? And don't go beyond your limit. Know your budget, know your cost. Integrate information technology, information management to your system. Have a way you are able to manage your customers. Have a way you're able to monitor your finances, right? You want to get investors. Have a working system. Have how you get your customers. Have how you keep them. Have how you would relate with them. Have a system that would show. So if I want to invest in your business now, show me what have you done in 3 months. You can't give me a paper and I'll be like, okay, fine. Okay, this is it. I'm going to invest. No. What are the numbers that you have? You need to show numbers, right? Basically to investors. So before they invest, right? And try to learn more. Read about stuff. Ask people questions, right? Oh, I like this. How did you do this? Oh, I like this. How did you do this? How am I able to do this? Okay. With that, you are able to scale up, right? And then set the goals that you want to achieve next year, right now, before the end of the year. This is what you want to achieve. Long-term goals, short-term goals. It can be goals in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I want to achieve 20 customers. In 4 weeks, I want to achieve these customers. In 3 months, this is where I want to get to, right? Set those goals. Celebrate your wins, okay? Do not beat yourself up when you fail because you have learned something. Okay, that's it from my side.
Thank you so much for that, Tomiwa. And Emmanuel, this last question is for you. And then you can, give your advice for business towards starting their own strategies next year. The person, Bonnie, says they want to know which are the best and cost-effective social media marketing platforms to push and improve sales.
Okay. The best social media strategy, best social media platforms, cost-effective, I think he mentioned that, cost-effective. I think cost-effective social media platforms, it depends on what you do. if you're a service provider or a product person, it actually does depend on what you do. So far, we've seen Instagram doing really good numbers for a lot of product sellers, as well as service providers, depending on how they're able to put their brands out there. If you're saying cost effective, then I hear you have a budget problem. And if you have a budget problem, it means you're skewed towards organic marketing than you are towards paid marketing. And if you're going to do a lot of organic marketing, you have to be very creative and open to try a lot of things. So irrespective of the platform, it's very important to look at the kind of business you do and the businesses in your industry that are doing really well. What platforms are they using? If it's Instagram, how are they communicating themselves, right, to the users that they're, because if I tell you use Facebook, it's great, or use Instagram, it might be based on my own bias, right? But for you to be able to make an informed decision, you have to see what's working and to learn from them. Like I said, Instagram is doing great for a lot of businesses. Twitter is doing massive. See, personally for me, Twitter has done me way more good than any other platform. But for some people, you ask them, they tell you LinkedIn is the number one for them. And LinkedIn has done them really well, right? So like I said, there's always a bias. When you have to ask a person or a marketing person to tell you what platform to use, it's almost always a conversation of what you want to achieve first, what industry you're in, what you do. Then it helps us, ascertain what platforms work. So now I don't know what the person does. So I'm just giving like a whole, like a framework, a way to think about it. If you are in an industry, you're not the only person there, except if it's, I don't know, a new idea. Except if it's a new idea, it's an existing industry. Look at the people who are doing really well. What platforms are they using? How are they attracting sales? How are they communicating themselves? And since you're skewed towards organic, you have to be ready to try a lot of stuff on whatever platforms you try. Like I said, Instagram has done really well for service providers as well as products people. Instagram has done really well. Shopify is not a social platform. It's more of an e-commerce platform, but people have also done quite a lot of sales on Shopify. LinkedIn has also done a lot of, especially service-based. LinkedIn has been massive for service people. Even B2B sales, LinkedIn has really done well for a lot of people. Not me though. I'm not saying LinkedIn is not good. I'm saying it's done really well for some people, right? For some others, Twitter. For me on Twitter, I'm generally socially shy, which is actually a contradiction as a marketing person, but I've found that I've made more friends that have led to quality business on Twitter than I have on Instagram and any other platform. So if you ask me, I'll say Twitter out of bias and experience. But for anyone who's out there, since it's a general idea, I don't know who you are, what you're doing, it's important that you look at your industry and the people who are doing really well there, see what platforms they use and how it works for them so that you can, and because you're a small business, probably a one-man business, I think it's good, it's best that you look at what's working. And I'm not saying copy and paste mindlessly. I'm saying, make informed adaptations, like replicate to a good extent to test what works. And when you find your voice, you would see it in the returns on your business. A lot of other platforms besides social media, I think businesses shouldn't overly place all of their strategy on just social media. Email marketing does really well, and people don't see it. Email marketing does really well. So even if you have a social media strategy, run a lead gen in such a way that you have phone numbers, maybe WhatsApp marketing, right? WhatsApp marketing does really well too. WhatsApp marketing, email marketing, SMS marketing, no matter your social media strategy, try to also get leads that you can always contact. So I hope that actually answers it for Bonnie. You said Bonnie?
Bonnie, yeah.
Yeah. And so for the second question, which you hit on and which my co-panelists have also done quite well to answer, the question of what advice I have for businesses as they round off the year, right? As we round off the year, don't do too much. It might sound counterintuitive, but don't do too much. It's very easy to spread yourself thin, doing 50 things and coming out with nothing. You only have a limited number of years and days to the end of the year, which is you don't even have a month. It's true, you don't really have a month. So I think the first thing to do is to look at the year, like Akintomiwa and Ifunanya have said, look at the year and what didn't work so that you know how to adapt moving forward. Secondly, set a realistic goal based on a quick win. That's I have a bias for quick wins, especially as you end the year. What's a quick win? What makes sense? What is possible to accomplish by it might even be a bold one, but it should be something you believe you can capture within a few days or a few weeks in the year. And then the third thing, before you begin to create a plan around that, let it lead up to 2022. As you make your plan for 2022, for example, I talked about expanding sales and opportunities, right? If you are, for example, a photocopy person, a person who does photocopy as an SME, you photocopy, you do printing jobs, just A4 papers and all of that, and your industry didn't do well, a good way to close the year is to think, how can I make enough money to help me start Q1 well, right? So you're running massive sales, you're running, how can I, if my industry didn't do well, what industries did well this year or are doing well at this time of the year? And how can I work with them? That's thinking about partnerships. So I think if you're running, thinking about your social media strategy, business strategy, or whatever form of strategy towards the end of the year, a quick win can open the door for more possibilities next year. If you don't do the business development for your own self as a business owner to say, what is working and how can I latch onto it? I think you'll be doing yourself a big disservice by just insisting on, oh, I just want to ensure my social media works. I just want to ensure, no. Another thing I also want to add before we leave here is that if you as the business person are not a marketing expert, speak to one. It's easy for us to tell you on this panel, hi guys, do your Instagram right, do your LinkedIn right. It's easy for us to tell you all these things. Why? Because, we do it all the time for clients, right? But it's, as a business person, you can really get in your own head and feel like, you know what's going to work. And you've tried all year, but you might not have seen as much success. So why not look for a marketing person, reach out to them, speak to them and see how they can help you capture or achieve your goal for the year. That's another thing I think is very important. If you are not the marketing expert as a business person, then reach out to one. It's almost, I don't know, there's many out there. There's many people you can speak to right now that would be able to help you make sense and tell you what is accomplishable, quote and unquote, before the year comes to an end, as well as leading into a very strong year in 2022. I hope that helps.
It sure does. Thank you so much, Manu, for those final words of advice. If now you have any final words you want to drop for businesses that are listening right now?
Just to add to what Emmanuel had said, in terms of maybe hiring like marketing professional, something to help you with your business. So sometimes, obviously, as a small business, you might not have the money to hire a marketing agent or a marketing professional. But what you can do is to look at which aspect of marketing you're actually lacking in, and then just seek for help in that aspect. So maybe it might be lead generation, it might be writing copy, it might be creating very interesting designs, or so it's not like the whole marketing spectrum that you need to maybe look for help for. You can just look at maybe a particular aspect of your marketing that you have a problem with and just narrow in on that and spend your money wisely.
Thank you so much, Naya. Somebody have final words for everyone?
No, I think that's all about it from my side.
All right, thank you guys so much. I know I've learned a lot, and there's another question here, but I think Panelist can just answer Bonnie privately because we have to end soon. And our partner business, they want to play a video for everyone to see. They can put that up right now. right, everyone. Thank you so much. So we at NetPlus have two payment devices, which are pretty innovative, pretty cool. One of them works as a payment device and a phone, which doubles up as the power of two, as we like to target. You can check that out on netpos.com.ng. And Business Day is also offering a year-long subscription for everyone who is on the call right now. Guys, thank you all so much for taking out the time to be here. Like I said, I have learned a lot. It was a pleasure to get to pick your brains a little bit and have you advise a lot of the businesses that are here. And I'm almost certain that they are at least be more confident as they try to, finish up their business year and then make decisions towards 2022. And personally, I'll be reaching out to every one of you when I'm ready to start my own business. Just saying. So thank you again so much, and hopefully we'll talk real soon. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Ifunaya, thank you.